Today is June 12th, 2025. Yesterday, I had to go to the Ravenna courthouse. My idiot ex-husband that lives in the Philippines because he fled the country back in 23, uh, right before Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving of 23. Danny called me, I was at work, and said, I don't know how to tell you this, Mom. He said, Dad fled the country, and if you want the dogs, um, he dropped them off the pound. I said, I don't have time to deal with this. And um, I said, I'll have to talk to you later. I'm at work. Well, I waited till I got enough time off work, went over there. And it's like, what on earth is going on? He said, well, Dad was acting irrationally. It's like he's been acting irrationally for years. He said, well, he started going online. He said he bought this girl from an agency. He said, I told him off. What kind of pathetic person has to buy a human being? And what kind of person buys a human being? What kind of pathetic person sells herself? You can't marry somebody you've never met. It's like, well, did he even meet her before he married her? Well, yeah, but he already bought her, paid for the wedding, paid for everything before he went over there. Paid the agency, paid everything. He goes over, he meets her for a few days, they have the wedding. Stayed over there for a couple weeks, came home, started freaking out. He wouldn't listen, left everything behind. He even told me I could have his clothes, I could have everything. He said, he said as if I'd want his clothes. He wouldn't listen. He said, I'll never see him again. And he fled the country for good. Well, last year I was talking to Josh. And I had told him that I was dating a retired Massillon police officer. He said, Massillon police. He said, some guy in Massillon was helping him get away with everything. He said, he found out he wasn't there anymore. He freaked out and fled the country forever. That office said that they said that you had rights. The police said you had rights, and that no, everything that they did to you did before, that nobody could even say a word. And he freaked out and fled the country. Okay. Now, they already know they can't say a word. But look at the shit. Look at the shit. Okay? Dear God. The day, what was it? The day after Thanksgiving, I was up in Bueller's, North Maine of 23. There was a Middle Eastern man in there. And his little kid, he looks at me, smiles great big, and said, it's finally got funny. It actually got funny. Dave's gone forever, and no one can say a word to Karen. It's actually got funny. And the kid is laughing and chuckling. It's actually got funny now. Okay? Well, that idiot, because I got married. Well, I filed my marriage certificate with alimony. Okay? He's behind because he fled the country, had to have child support attached to Social Security to pay me. I didn't have alimony for months and months. Okay? Made him pay part of the rears back plus his regular. Okay? wife filed my marriage certificate. He still owed the arrears and the fees. Okay. He takes me into court. I talked to his attorney, and I told him I already filed everything. He said I didn't realize it. Still had to go to court. Yesterday, I go in the courthouse. There's a guy in there. He said, I heard John and Michelle broke up. He was supposed to date her to get information out of her. Okay? And he said, I told these people no one's to say a word to her. Well, what would they say? Seriously. See, this has got to the point of stupid and almost retarded stupid. I want you to think how stupid this is. Where the FBI said how dumb these people are. Couldn't believe they were so dumb they would try this with them. She calls the FBI hotline. They immediately walk into an FBI office and confess they already know she called the FBI, and they were illegally monitoring her on their own. That's a 7 to 15-year sentence. It's a federal crime. President Nixon couldn't walk in office, got impeached. Like my friend Walter Moss that worked at the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, they made the biggest mistake. They did it in your home and they set up button cameras. They did the biggest mistake. And like he said, where they laugh at you in stores, that they photoshopped a shower scene of you washing yourself. In the other room, they probably did. It's clicking and pasting. And where you had all the signs of being drugged, beaten, raped. Somebody was hurting you. Even if your doctors didn't put it together, somebody was hurting you, Karen. He said, and we all know you sleepwalk with those amnesia drugs. He said you had all the signs of being drugged, beaten, raped. They probably did drug you up until you say something stupid. He said it's a fraud scheme. The whole thing, it took him 30 seconds. Okay? Now I want you to think about that. Where the FBI said they never fell for it and how dumb they are trying this with them. That nobody fell for the dirty doctor scam, taping you unaware, confessing your crimes. Sat on it till Dave wanted a divorce. It's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware because of HIPAA and Privacy Acts. They go to jail. It's illegal for that doctor to be in it with Dave. HIPAA and Privacy Acts. It's illegal if a doctor knows someone's being harmed if they do not report a limited report to the police. There may be a problem here. I need you to look into it. Let the cops do their job. They can't say how they know so they don't get sued and lose their license for HIPAA. But there may be. If they don't, they lose their license forever and go to jail as an accessory. Okay? See what I mean? And then they said it sounded mechanical and they knew they altered everything. Okay? And nobody fell for the tape of weird with yourself. We knew it was photoshopping of washing yourself in the shower, and they photoshopped everything. But if they were going to be that dumb to try this with us, we told Agent John to go up to that church and tell on her for calling the FBI hotline before he talked to her, see who else is involved. He was to act dumb. April 1925. Hartville Flea Market announced it. If they didn't want you to know these people are dumb, they wouldn't have said a word. They wanted you to know where they made fun of FBI agent John, June 7th, 23. Walmart 62, 10:11 in the morning. FBI agent John fell for the stunt of tapes before. Oh, come on now. It was only a stunt. You're kidding. You mean that FBI agent actually fell for a stunt of tapes before that were only a stunt? John actually fell for it. You mean that FBI agent John actually fell for a stunt of tapes before? Is that what's going on? Ha 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 ha. Show videos of it to children. In September 23, Forest Grove Drive in Akron, I'm sitting outside with a client. Two people walk by. Even some of the drug dealers don't find it funny what's going on anymore. Did she do anything wrong? No. The drug dealers already confessed they photoshopped everything. Made fun of the FBI. They fooled them. Are they going to do anything about it? We don't know, but none of this is funny. Went to her ex-husband and asked him if it was a medication error that made her sick before. If the doctors had told him that, he said yes. Even encouraged them for years to sue those doctors. He didn't say a word and let all those people hurt her. None of this is funny. Okay? Now, when I went into the courtroom, the idiot had to be yesterday, had to be up on telecom. I thought, I'm not even looking at you. I'm not even going to acknowledge you. You're making me sit here? Well, drive 40 minutes up there, wait, get dressed up to go to court for them to announce that alimony is canceled when the fees are paid off. I have to go up here. I go in and I'd already talked to his attorney several times. Got him the payoff numbers, everything. Okay. Real nice to me. Super nice. Okay. So we go in. They have the idiot over on the side, telecom. I won't even look at it. That I'm not even laying my eyes on you. I have no need for you to even look at you. They got done with everything. And his attorney, leaned over and he said, I just need you to sign and acknowledge that after the fees are paid, that it's canceled. And he said, it's already canceled anyways, but it's just for the courts. Read it over and that's what it was. And I said, hey, did you get the email where I sent you the numbers? He said, I hadn't had time to print it off. I said, well, I got it. I got a copy. Here you go. He said, like, thanks. The judge, because that idiot had already got off, he said, you're his attorney. Why you're talking to her? He said, because this is just an acknowledgement. It's over. There's nothing bad going on. And, but my God, I sat out in my car and I went through a lot. And that girl, that lady that was with the Louisville cops on May 30th, 25, how she's trying to railroad Dixie and Michelle, or Melissa, Dixie and Melissa into jail. I told Danny yesterday. I told him that there was some lady outside my apartment, how she is trying to trick people into I said, do you remember back in 22 when I asked you if you knew about the tapes before of shower scene and drug confessions? Yeah. And I said, you didn't know anything? No. And you didn't know anything about Eric, the one they called Eric, that laughed all the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it for all these people to turn on and they fell for it. And you didn't know about it. He's like, no. I said, some lady's trying to get people to put their name on that fraud scheme. And then she's going to turn around on them and she's going to nail them hard and fast. And they're going to go to jail for being part of a fraud scheme. I said, I turned her into the sheriffs and to agencies. She can't do it. Entrapment is when law enforcement tricks you into doing crimes you normally would not do so they can arrest you. He just looked at me. I said, I turned that bitch in. And I turned her into high agencies. She can't do this. Tricking somebody as dumb as Dixie, you're pathetic. And leave Melissa alone. Now she knows they're documenting me games of pretend. By the police and the FBI. Because they didn't make it up until the FBI case. For Melissa, so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. So, knowing Melissa was friends with Auntie Shaw, having the kids make up those mean jokes. See, they thought when they'd say something when I went to walk up the stairs that I'd stay down and listen to it all and then scare me out of everything. I didn't stay down. See, where we had a split level. You walk in, you could either go down or you go down to the family room or you go up to the living room and kitchen. Okay? They're downstairs in the family room. They're playing boo, want to scare everybody. Okay? And because they're little, we're letting them take us each down there, jump out and go, ah! And then act like you're scared. Just to make them happy. My turn, they did it. I go to walk up, third step up. The house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Grandma needs to get out. Look down there in a huddle and they're saying crazy crap. Well, I go on upstairs and I sit by Dixie and I'm thinking, I have to die for Shell? Who's Shell? Flora comes running up that was playing with my other granddaughter. Okay? They're saying mean things in the basement. And Dixie's like, stay out of it. So I go right up to John. My house is legally bugged by the police and the FBI for protected custody case with statements in a court order for legal police surveillance. I said, John, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. He said, I told Melissa, that's his ex-wife, that you're moving out, going through a divorce. She's just going to have the kids make up something because of the divorce and you're moving out. But don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too. But don't worry about it. Nobody could ever say anything bad about you. It's just made up because of the divorce. And then you're going to be moving out. You shouldn't have said anything until it happened. But I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. He shoots me. Okay? To clarify everything, I go to Dave. I said, I've never hurt anyone. He's like, Karen, you're good to the kids. You're good to the grandkids. You would never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. I taped him, showed the police and the FBI. Now we're going to go okay? Then the FBI and police, because these people, Bill from the Freemasons, that some guy named Pete on his own, sold government technology, the login to the FBI case. For Will found another way of making money on the case. He sold the login for $25 a pop. Went viral. And then I heard in 23 in North Canton that church is just sending out government technology to log into the case. They're just giving it away at this point. Okay. Went to each one of my kids. They defended me. The police and the FBI, since it's already public, these people already know and they're selling the login. Other people know. There's nothing to hide. Keep secret. Had auto in the front of Walmart. Why are they having those kids make that shit up? They're just trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. Okay. I called. Well, we'll finish what happened yesterday. I went to Bob Evans. Some guy was talking to another guy. Okay. He said, he was talking about those kids making everything up. Okay. We already know that. And then they're trying to do the drugged and told to say filthy statement, the bitch move. And say, well, we all know. They already admitted it years ago repeatedly. They drugged me and told me to say it. Repeatedly. Okay? And he said, well, I went to her sons. They said nothing bad ever happened to them. Oh, they're just afraid to say something. We know. Wait till we're done with her. Where they've been lying. Oh, they verified it for Will. They never verified it for Will. He lied. Just like they lied that Danny reported the shower scene in the other room. He didn't know anything. Got it? They're just lying. Do you know when these people are lying? They open their mouth. It's that bad. Just look at them. They go to say something to him. Say, nope, not falling for that one. Nope, not falling for that one. Okay. Surveillance laws. Even President Nixon couldn't bug an office. Watergate got impeached. He was going to go to jail, but Ford pardoned him. United States president couldn't bug an office because of the right to privacy. So who the hell do these people think they are, running drug scams on people on their own? Okay? Now, you can never... See, that's where my friend Walter Moss said, this is a big fraud scheme. They did the biggest mistake. They set up buying cameras in your home. It's cyber stalking. It's a federal crime, 12 to 15 years. Okay? You cannot set up listening devices or buying cameras in somebody's home. Totally illegal. Okay? Doctors can never tape you unaware because of HIPAA privacy acts, and it's a felony invasion of privacy. Okay? Now, we all know we tape what? Birthday parties, Christmas parties, events, races. Do we need anybody's permission? No, it's the United States of America. Do we have to go around to anybody that walks in front of the camera and get their permission? No. Exactly. Ohio is a one-party conversation recording because of, like, it's if you just sit and talk to someone, you can hit record on your phone. It's about the only thing you can do. Even the riffraff said they went to the police. It is about the only thing you can do. Hit record on your phone when you're talking to somebody. You can't do anything to them, of course. But you can hit record on your phone. Totally legal. Ohio is a one-party conversation right on Google. An only conversation. You can just, like the parties, the events. If you're just sitting and talk to someone, you can hit record. Totally legal. That's about it. Can't leave it running because then it goes into stalking. But when you're just talking to somebody, you can record the conversation just like a family get-together. You don't need their permission. Got it? And this thing that they're playing with Dixie, this is where Dave's threat was. Within 2 weeks of me calling the FBI, I heard Dave outside, and I looked out the window and I looked outside. He never seen me. He's on the phone. Okay, walking around. Dixie and the baby are next. We'll teach Josh a lesson for letting her down there. He was so angry he could cut his hands off, so he couldn't work anymore. And 4, they have a list, and they'll move on to who they want next. I Googled the office where that agent was, and I found him. And they said he's got a list. I'm working on it. They recorded Dave. So why are they playing with Dixie? Because she's next. Get it? Get it? Are you getting it? That girl is so dumb. I don't know how that poor child has made it through life. That's how entrapment, law enforcement, tricking people into doing crimes they normally would not commit. It's a federal crime. So, bitch, I turned you into the FBI, the CIA, the NSA. There's a real FBI case. And they have you under surveillance, confessing what you're doing to Melissa and Dixie. how you're going to get them to try to say something. And they're going to nail them hard. And it's going to be so hard and so fast with so many charges, they won't know what's coming at them. Oh, I was looking out my window when you were saying that, bitch. Cars bugged by the FBI and sheriffs. Yeah. FBI informant. And that you didn't think I was smart enough to know surveillance laws, and you see me put it up on Facebook. I know how to use Google, honey. Invest. Then you wouldn't be running around with your fucking scam. With Bill from the Freemason and that some guy named Pete on his own. Because, like, Officer John stopped men at the door coming in. What did those kids get taped stating? They made everything up. They actually said they were games of pretend, too. They're documenting games of pretend, giggling and laughing in the basement. That's why I didn't know what everything was going to be said. I didn't know. Because I hadn't been around them. See, that's where that guy in Bob Evans, she hadn't even been around him over the year, not 4 or 5 minutes, and not alone. Because we were busy selling one house and moving into another and fixing it up. And they only came around on holidays. Because they had their own lives, their own families, and their own careers. So they were the holiday family. Unless something really bad happened, they never showed up. Except for holidays. So I hadn't even seen them since the 4th. I want you to think about that. Think hard. And then only seeing them when they came in, sat down, took a picture of them on the couch with everybody sitting there. I was heating up their food because they were an hour late because they went to a park. Took 2 bites, ran down to the family room to have pillow fights. Jen and I walk outside with bottles of water with John, Noah, Dave, Gabe riding on the lawnmower. We sat out there till we got too warm because it was the 4th. Went back inside, dished up the dessert, and didn't even get all the way sat down when Dave came in that they had left through the basement because they were in a hurry. Because they were going through a divorce at that point. And yeah, they weren't even there an hour and never came upstairs. So I want you to think of that. Then I didn't see him till Walmart Maslin when we went to buy curtains for the basement, and they come running and ask, Grandma Popo, what you doing here buying curtains for the basement? Before that, went to drop off John's stuff for he moved. She was inside, and she came out with kids. Hi, what are you doing? Dropping off John's stuff. I'll put it against the house. Not there 2 minutes and not alone. Before that was the Christmas with the bikes. 17. Our whole family was there. And some other woman already took credit for the bikes. He was already cheating. But yeah, probably cheated the whole marriage. Now, I want you to think about this. Think long and hard. That's where the Maslin police called them documenting games of pretend. Why the Stark County sheriffs were laughing at Kurt in 21 if he just found out those kids are lying. He is slow. See, that's where the investigators said, do you realize how sick this is? Karen is out risking her life to get information on these people. She's almost died. And her family sitting around laughing, making up stuff behind her back. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. October 23rd, 2019, Burrell's first party. There was a bunch of people there, and I was talking. I said, do you know how mad I was when I heard that thing about Auntie Shell and Papa getting the house? Flora's like, that's not what they said. They said this, and it was filthy. Make up something, call you a bad word. That's all they tell me. Besides, I guess she was in it with a drugger and said he drugged me and told me saying wrong nightgown and butt lie, and then all this other crazy crap of. Her first lie is she was in it with that guy that said he drugged you up and told you to say the wrong nightgown and butt lie. The second lie, they came upstairs, looked through a cracked bathroom door, seeing being weird with herself. That's disgusting. I wasn't inside, I was outside. And who's being dirty if you look, being a peeking Tom looking through a bathroom door? When somebody is wiping their ass, you're being a pervert, and somebody could be putting yeast infection cream on. Third lie, they'll make up something, call you a bad word. Fourth lie, they told people I vandalized their church. I wouldn't touch that place with a 10-foot pole. It's got demons. They told people that by Christmas of 18 that I had broken into a home. The owner caught me. They tied my arms and legs to a chair, knocked it over, kicked it over, and jumped out a window. I'm in my 50s and 200 pounds. I wouldn't fit through a window. I'm 50 and I would hurt myself. I'm not a spring chicken. Then they told people I shot up a home and killed someone. That's Dave. They called it fucking shit. My family should be ashamed of me jokes. Okay? It was a bitch move thinking that I would overhear it all. And they just scare me into giving everything up. I didn't hear it. If Laura wouldn't have stated, when she's like, that's not what they said said this. It was filthy. I was horrified. I would have spanked them all for that. If I was their mother, I would have spanked them all and they would have wrote 100 times, I will never lie again. I'll tell you that much. There is no sense in that. I don't care how much they wanted Dave to get that house. There was no sense in that. And Josh is like, ooh, don't say that again. It's not true. Well, of course it's not true. Of course it never happened. We made it up. They were games up or down. And sat down and sat there and chuckled. And couldn't quit chuckling. See what I mean? Not funny. I didn't know till she stated it. If she wouldn't have stated it, chuckling and laughing and wouldn't quit laughing about it, I wouldn't have known. They're documenting me games up or down. Okay? The cop said, Melissa could go to jail for this. Involving herself in this. Well, her kids are little. I'd hate for her to go to jail. Why don't we just write it up that she was showing off for Dave and his new girlfriend? And that's how it is. That's why she didn't go to jail. And this lady, she knows they're mean jokes. Because they're mean jokes, nobody went to the hospital. Nobody went to the doctor. There's no medical report of injury. There's no pictures of injuries. Right? There's no police investigation. No questioning, no nothing. Why? The cops were already there for the FBI case. When she made it up and they were laughing, they're documenting mean jokes. And she better thank God they're just mean jokes. Because my new husband, Carl, he's a sweetie. Absolute sweetheart. Okay? His granddaughter knew her husband was hurting their child. She didn't report him. She didn't get that child help. You cannot hide abuse long. He went to jail the rest of his life. She went to jail for years as an accessory for not getting that child help. See what I mean? She better thank God they're just mean jokes. Because she would have went to jail. See what I mean? And now she's not, his granddaughter's not allowed around a child again. She didn't hurt that child, but she let him. See what I mean? The police and the FBI recorded Dave of even knowing Melissa asking me to babysit those kids in 18 before we moved up to Ravenna, before they broke up. They also, Dixie knew of it. And I told Dave, I said, I know they're upset I won't watch those kids. I said, but I usually had Dan and Ty and Sometimes Crystal and Flora and I can't take care of their 4. Well, they have 3 together, and then he has a child with his girlfriend. So there's 8 children. And Dave used to say you'd have to get one of those little mini buses. Drive around. What are we going to say? The wheels go around on the bus, go round and round, and start mocking me. He was still doing that with the FBI case. I said there's not enough ice cream in the world to keep 8 children quiet all the time. Okay? John asked me to babysit at 19 for Kenzie, Carrington, and Noah. Why? Because they're Melissa's mean jokes. That's all they are. They're documenting mean jokes. That's why nobody went to the hospital. Nobody went to the doctor. There was no pictures of injuries. No police were called. No investigation. No questioning. Because they're mean jokes. I was in Walmart 62. A couple months ago, we heard she's some kind of FBI informant. She didn't even get questioned of those grandkids because they said the police were taped those kids saying they were lying years ago. I know. They've told people that. Okay? And then Melissa's kids, the apartment bill informed me second close to the fence, where that lady and little girls knew they had drugged me and told me to say it before. 4 or 5 neighbors did a police report around 8/9/21. They even told those kids they were lying. They were laughing about it. Do you know how many people they told they were lying and were laughing about it? Wasn't even funny. Okay? I was out with a client October 5th, 21. They were talking about that girl lying. He's like, who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying everywhere we go. Get the idea? Get the idea? Get the idea? They talked about that girl lying in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Illinois, everywhere. The mall of her lies, Melissa's lies. They used to scream it on the streets of Louisville. Canton. Get the idea? Melissa's lies. That's all they are. She better thank God they're only lies. Because if something really happened and you didn't take your kid to the doctor, didn't call the police, you go to jail as an accessory. See, that lady knows it's fraud. It's just mean jokes, trying to scare her out of everything. So she's trying to get her to say something. Well, you can't say anything. Like a personal injury attorney. Now think of this. They said if it's personal injury for anything, you have to have so much to have a case. You have to prove injury. You have to be seen by a doctor or hospital. You have to document injury. You have to have pictures of the injuries that go along with what you're being seen with. Okay? And then you have to have a police report to go along with that to prove injury. Okay? Then you got to have physical proof that it was that person or that animal that bit you, because I got bit by a dog. They told me that I had to have the emergency room report, pictures of the dog bites. Okay? A police report, a copy of the email I sent them and the time and date when I called them, attached to right when the injury, okay? So that there's a police investigation. Dog warden report that the emergency room did. You have to prove injury and that you reported it. Okay? Then you have to prove responsibility. I said, well, I got an eyewitness. That's not good enough. You can just have somebody say something. I said, well, another neighbor before I pulled out see me right there before I pulled out. Well, they could say another dog bit you. You have to have physical evidence. I said, well, if you want physical evidence where it wrapped onto my arm, bit through my jacket and shirts, I still have the DNA all over my coat from that dog. She's like, now you proved it. Responsibility. You don't have all that, you don't have nothing. You just can't say it. And that's all they got. Because they were mean jokes. Got it? See, that's where she knows it's fraud. And then she's trying to get her to extort money out of the government under fraud. 25 years. Federal prison. Leave her alone. And then Precious Dixie, that stupid bitch, told Dixie that now, I told you the surveillance laws, where it's legal to tape family get-togethers, Christmas parties. Okay? You can tape a one-party conversation where you're talking to them. Can't record on your phone. Totally legal. You give somebody permission on tape to tape you, you have nothing definitely to say. That bitch told Dixie, because she's dumb and she's playing with her, told her, even though I had gave her permission to tape me and tape me before, of knowing of Melissa's mean games that pretend the kids were laughing at, and day breaking of the gunshot night, even though I gave her permission, I can extort all kinds of money out of the government. You can't even attempt to extort money out of the government. It's 25 years federal. Extortion out of an individual is 5. Got it? That's 30 years federal prison to put the dumb girl in. You leave her the hell alone. She said, and that I can extort all out of that old man she's married to, and I'll get all his money when he dies. She's going to get all kinds of money from me, Melissa. She's railroading him into jail. Leave the stupid girls alone. Melissa said the group of people they hired to watch her, unaware that the chief of police up there gives special permission. She's that dumb. And to watch people unaware in their home, break in their homes. It's illegal to break in somebody's home. Set up button cameras watching them unaware. And break in and do stuff like drug, beat, and rape them. And drug them for fake confessions, kind of thing. Break in and do things to them. The way they described it made total sense because she's a dingbat. You leave the dumb girl alone. My God, I don't know how this child's made it this far in life. You leave the pathetic dumb girl alone. You hear me? I've told on you, and I'll repeatedly tell on you. And, with you out there saying that you thought I was so dumb I wouldn't know surveillance laws and that it would be legal for me to tape Dixie, you thought I was dumb and you could trick me? I'm not that stupid bitch. And you did a stupid mistake confessing that around my car. Okay. May 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then you even acknowledged the investigators for the day. Walmart 62, May 26, 25, for the cartel, saying how tired they are. Bill from the Freemason and his scam of the dirty doctor taping me unaware before that was not mine, but works for them. And they had lied that they were making fun of it in Summit Mall, how he fooled everybody. And that they were tired of him. And who does he think he is? And that other cartel, they're not the one running it. They are. The Florida group. Okay? Bill's trying to get in Texas. that kills agents, by the way. Retired CIA agents that they killed, the FBI and CIA agents, all law enforcement's after him for that. Okay? He's trying to get in a Texas group that kills federal cops. Get the idea how not funny that bastard is? And they're threatening war because Bill won't stop. And do they want more? Michelle says she's really nice. She told her how to take care of herself. I did a video when they started threatening that girl for telling that agent on March 27th, 25. He was outside my work saying, I'm glad she stayed up and went through everything. I told Michelle I never want to see her again. Yes, I'm good with it. I got her to confess that that doctor from before was not ever one of hers, but works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors, and that she don't even know who he is. And that they did try to have me killed when they bashed in my head, that or leave me incompetent, and it didn't work. And that he even got it out of Dave that a girlfriend from before me made him marry me so he could get a job at my dad's factory. Okay? And she'd have free insurance. The lady running up all those medical bills in my name was Dave's girlfriend. My whole marriage was a scam. And he could give her extra money. Okay? All right. Then Michelle confessed at April 17, 25, and she's under police surveillance. Big SUV stop. Well, she's saying it in the parking lot. Talked to the police up there. They said, how dumb was I confessing that that doctor was never one of hers. He works for them, and that they had lied. He was one of my doctors. And that they had tried to kill me when they bashed in my head. That he's an agent, she's an informant, and we could all end up in jail for this. And that how she really liked him. Okay? Well, that's when the FBI showed up, April 19th, 25. And then April 24th, 25, up in Summit Mall, the Texas group is up there. Muslim people, ladies in hijabs, people speaking other languages around me. And then one of the guys for them, you tell that guy will up there that pull off a scam. Here, it was all ruined because Michelle had told on him that that doctor was not one of hers, but works for them. And they had lied that he was one of her doctors. You tell them we said take care of her. And then they left all kinds of threats on her. Okay? It's been out like crazy. And I'll tell you what, that guy in my old apartment, him after Michelle told, he was out there with the neighbors pulling all the scams. How he was in there with that agent when they were scamming him of the dirty doctor thing. And how that agent turned her back over to us, said he didn't care what happened to her. And when he asked her who she knew anything about that doctor, it's not one of mine. Still don't know who he is. He knew she was lying. I wasn't the one lying, you were. You work for Bill from the Freemasons. You're part of the Texas group. Yeah. Get an idea. Pulling the scam on Louisville. Where they would randomly pull their scam of the shower scene in the other room, or the drugs and told to say it, or the mean games of pretend. And they'd randomly pull one different days. They hit them all here at once. Everything that's been debunked years ago. But how he was in there with that scamming that agent. The FBI is going to remember to arrest him for defrauding that federal agent, right? And then where they kept saying that they have to have Agent John show up here. We have to find somebody dumb enough to arrest her. All the other police departments know of that case. Okay? And she's in the witness protection program. She can't be processed. But if we have to find somebody dumb enough to arrest her. then that agent has to show up here in Louisville. It's the only way we can make sure he shows up. Okay? And I kept thinking, why do they want him to show up? And then I got to thinking, oh my God, they kill agents. It's like, tell Agent John to stay the hell out of Louisville. And then, a couple weeks ago, they were outside my apartment. Some guy was out there saying, I want that agent to show up here and explain himself. I found out some of the drug dealers that helped out went to jail. And he said he didn't care what we did to her. And then all those drug dealers went to jail. I want him to explain himself. He ain't explaining nothing. He fooled you. So, okay. Now, we're going to talk real quick about all this. The First Amendment, where my friend Walter, I were talking. I've talked to police. I've talked to criminal attorney. Only a judge can put a gag order on you during a jury trial. We all know that. Okay? Police and agents don't have that kind of authority. A judge can't sign an agent taking your freedom of speech away in a court order because they don't have authority. It's not a jury trial. Like they said, that judge would go to jail. It's not in the court order. He broke the law, even say it, where they told him to act up. Okay? Yeah, he was just fooling them. He can't ask me to stay quiet. He don't even have the authority to. Can't be in the court order because it's not a jury trial and a judge didn't order. Freedom of speech. Learn your rights so scammers can't scam you. 14th Amendment, you cannot withhold protection. It's a federal crime for a cop or an agent to do it. Okay? Can't withhold money or take assets, but due process of the law? You have a right to privacy in your home. You have a right to remain quiet and a right to an attorney. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements in a court order without a conflict of interest. Okay? There's nothing else. Talk to all those people about it. It's a big fraud scheme. There's no such thing as special permission. Now, where they told Agent John to act on, where I called the hotline, I had already told them. They asked me how I knew those people were saying they were the ones trying to have me killed. I told them I had not been a member of their church for 15 years. Okay, had no contact with them. That in like 2011, I visited 2 times when they were making up stuff, trying to find out what was going on, and I didn't go back. And I had nothing to do with them, that they had pushed my kid to suicide in 2003. I had nothing to do with those people after that. Okay? And I had no contact with them. Well, how would you know that they're pregnant? I said, I know 3 people that work in a jewelry store. 2 of them had went to work with that Katie that goes to that church, and she told all 3 of them where I've had these attempts, and I didn't know who was doing it, that it was them, and she's breaking in the mall. So I want you to think about that. So where I call the hotline, and we go through a lot. The next day, the phone's ringing. They have me so drugged up I can't answer the phone. Let it go to voicemail. Had to wake up later, hold on to the wall, get to the bathroom, refrigerator, get back in bed, listen to the voicemail. This is Agent da-da-da, call me back. I can't. Fall back to sleep. Second day, not much better. Third day, made myself get up. Hold my head, I feel drunk, and I don't drink. What on earth is wrong with me? Okay? Got enough air in my face, called one of my witnesses. I gave the hotline. Okay? Said she'd witness for me, went out and bought a card, put that agent's number in it. We dropped it off at the mall. Her manager put it in her locker, and we went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. Paul Paymer got in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off, women come up. He knows she's being drugged, being raped. He said he didn't care. I'm covered in bruises, severely. In fact, I've been throwing up. I thought it was the dirty well water killing me, giving me cancer. Here, no, it's predators raping me. drugging me for fake confessions. They were telling everybody in the beginning of the case they had sodium pentothal reports. They were drugging me to get the truth out of me. Or they were drugging me and framing me. Okay? I go in and sit down. They follow me. He knows she's being drugged, being raped. He said he didn't care. Where it was a medication error, medical malpractice almost killed me. And Strange made up that faking lie 15 years ago. To cover up Tim and Katie, he thought I was following him, and it was my sister Linda following her husband. Just made up a baby lie. If she's going to be faking she was sick and faking she got well, that family was screaming where her father killed her kid in vehicular homicide, I wasn't even there. Her father killed her kid in vehicular homicide, I wasn't even there. They were just saying it so people would help out. Had nothing to do with it. Oh, that agent that was dating Michelle. Got that out of them too. Got it out of that family. Why would you even say it offended you? They said it didn't even concern them. They just said it so people would help out. Okay? And it's 6 months later when he made it up. After I got well. Well, that family was grieving. He didn't care what they did to her. And if she was going to be mean to their women. Now, I already told the hotline I had no contact with them. Oh. Okay? He was going to turn her back over to him. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Dave comes in, let's go. Get out in the car, he called the FBI on me. I had to kill you myself. He goes for a gun, put my hand on the console, beats me all the way home. Run from it. Next day, rivers of tears. Everybody knows. I call him. Tell him someone told him. He called me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at China. He go, call me a liar. Started screaming about a camera above the bench. I don't know. And I said, well, he tried to kidnap me before. Oh, come on now. Even if a church person seen him, they would never verify. That's why I didn't tell him about Terry seeing him. Terry Coberly. And he said, I met with that family in my office that her father murdered her kid in vehicular homicide. And all those church people, and I know they're trying to kill you because the strangest lie called me a faker 15 years ago. I said I really was sick before, you lie, and then start screaming again. Now, what did he just confess? He told on me. Right? Talked to everybody knows I called the FBI. He's seen by hundreds telling on me. Okay? Now he's confessing on a recorder line. And he starts screaming about the camera of the bench. I don't know. You say you're lying, I'll put you down. It's like, fine, whatever. Now, I want you to say you're faking you were sick. Well, that's ridiculous. I almost died. I said I really was sick before. He's like, you liar, how he met with that family in his office that was in there bullshitting him. And all those church people. And I know they're trying to kill you. And he said, strangest lie. I said I really was sick before. You need to realize what you've done, and I don't blame him for trying to kill you. He actually says that. I said, look, I really was sick. He's like, you say you were faking, or I'll leave you there, but they'll kill me. So they're trying to kill me. Stop. Say it or I'll leave you there. It's like, fine, just don't let them kill me. Why would that be? I help a person like you. Well, they're going to try to kill me, so. They've tried to kill me, so. Then they yell out the predator's name. Dave told Danny, April 16, 23, after Jen's mom's memorial service. When I kept asking him questions about everything and talking about him, after around that time, I had been going over there. Well, after her service, where her mom had passed away, across the parking lot, I still don't know, I know, he walked up to Gabe and Shay, my grandson and his girlfriend, and said, I finally asked my dad, what on earth is going on? He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in her home before. Pete has her framed. Pete has her taped. The filthy, dirty statement. Never met him. Okay, so where they're trying to say it was a doctor from before, it's some guy named Pete. He is also, when the case first started, they said a retired Judge Pete from the Ravenna courthouse, friends with Ludick and Stephen, was letting him get away with crimes, and so was the Portage County Sheriff's. He was the one impersonating a retired judge, framing everybody up there. It's him. Get it? That's where the investigators in December 23, January 24, on a Sunday night out in Alliance, when the case first started, we found out Karen's ex-husband had her so drugged up, they were drug beating, raping her, and she wasn't realizing what was happening. Okay? And they said it was some retired or some judge up there messed up in the drug cartel. To stay out of it so they can get their connections. Found out it's just some guy saying he's a judge. Oh, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when Chief Bruce Lewinsky questions him. So I hear you like to impersonate judges. You like to frame 2 sitting judges, and you like to frame me and the rest of the sheriffs. And what is this about Tinkerbell permission we didn't know about? You like to drug, beat, and rape women? Photoshop things in your perverted tape and sell kiddie porn? Huh? Oh, I'd love to be a fly on that wall. It's supposed to be, where they were even talking, it's supposed to be 2 men my ex-husband hired on his own. Okay? Even that dirty lady who was out there with the cops said they looked it up. Her ex-husband hired 2 men on his own to do it. They said one was an attorney. And so it made it legal. No, it don't. It makes it more illegal. I know, because he holds a license. And he knew better. Right to privacy. So is Bill from the Freemason the attorney? Yeah. Or is it his attorney friend? And Jack the Ripper rapist is Pete, right? Well, we could always use Pete's tape or Weird With Yourself, the shower scene in the other room. They framed Danny and Jen, said they reported it. They didn't know anything about it and will not have anything to do with it. They lied. They lied on everybody. And I said, what are you talking about? I've never even met him. And it's a shower scene in the other room. Okay? Then he says something else about Pete again. I've never met him. And I'm like, the only Pete I know is my brother Medina. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Stop. She don't know. I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this doctor. And I said, what are you talking about? Well, I thought it was the other lady using my insurance because it didn't make no sense. I said, I don't even know who you're talking about. And he's like, stop. She don't know. Okay? Give me a real reason. I tell him about my brother-in-law, Craig, died working for the government. Okay? He said, first of all, have you talked to any law enforcement about threats on your life? I said, the only officers I've ever talked to were August 8 of 18, midnight light. I had a light in the security system outside. They came out and said it looked like an alien orb, angry spirit, and told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. They don't want to bother. You're kidding, right? I said, no, I've never even had my neighbors in my home. I've only had family and repair guys. He's like, is that what's going on? He said, do you know if Dave's cheating? I said, I've never caught him. He tells the other guy, she said she's never caught him. Dave verified that December 9th, 18. I never caught him. Okay? He said, well, I could take you somewhere and leave you with no money. I have no money to start. If you agree to get information on Dave and the churches, I can open a informant program. It comes with $5,000 a month. I said I could do that. Now he's already admitted you talk to everyone. Everybody knows. Like they said, they walked into his office. They already knew. You'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally stated, dated against you again. And only for you would we ever do this for boys. Put it back as if it never happened. You can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. Admit to no wrongdoing and I'll take care of everything in the end. But if you try to tell someone, the FBI won't help you. And I'll tell people you're crazy. But if you need help, you can call the chief of police. He's one of my best friends of Canton. He's a really good man. And he'll make sure the Canton police always protect you. I told my friend Walter from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, he laughed till he had tears trickling. Tears. He said the only thing legally did was list you informant with money and immunity. It takes a sitting judge in a jury trial to put a gag order on you. He's only a higher police officer. He don't even have the authority to ask you to stay quiet because of the freedom of speech, and no judge could sign it. They go to jail. He didn't have even the authority to say that to you. As a matter of fact, it was even illegal. You're in the witness protection program, Karen. He said, you don't even realize it. He said, and you're not just in an informant case, which is one of the many. You're in a threat and attempt at life case. You can tell whoever you want, and he can't say a word. He was only bullying you to get away with this. He said, he said he can't bully you into false statements, and the police know they can't go along with it. He said you get the money for risking your life and only risking your life to get the government information. He cannot withhold it. He cannot misdirect it. It's illegal, and the police know that. And no sitting judge could ever sign that court order, because the Department of Justice or state would put them in jail. Because only a judge in a jury trial can take your freedom of speech away. Okay? And until the FBI puts you in another witness protection program, you'll stay an informant for life. You get the money for the rest of your life for risking your life to get the government information on those people, and they owe you. And you stay in immunity. And because these people tried to kill you, they could wait and try to kill you again. You could never get out of protective custody. The Department of Justice will put the FBI in jail. That's why my fingerprints are sealed. That's where they said they had to find somebody dumb enough to actually try something with me, because all the other cops know about that FBI case. Stark County Sheriff's at work at Faith Family Church. Security work here and around the house. Massillon Police, North Canton, Canton Police. Hartville's mentioned it. Summit County Sheriffs. Carroll County Sheriffs. Got the idea. Maddie's friend, 2.5 hours away. 2.5 hours away. Knew of this case. Got a hold of U.S. Marshals. The CIA knows of this case. The retired CIA agent talked to me about it, and she went out and called them. They all worked my case because of the Texas group. They're all after him. Okay? I like my money agent, John. It wasn't one of your agents in the trenches. It was your little informant. I have a dented in skull for 12/21/18. I was human trafficked in 18 and 19. I was raped and tortured July to September 19. I was almost shot in the head driving in the first 2 months of the case. There's a shooting night by Christmas of 18. 12/21/18, stabbed in the neck, bashed in the back of the head, beaten, raped, and left for dead. I was drugged till they induced and vomiting till my stomach shifted up underneath my ribs. I lost 70 pounds in protective custody while you got thousands of bad guys off this and saved hundreds of people. A letter of thank you would be nice also. They admitted years ago, and from the beginning of the case, they were using sodium pentothal on me, and that they were drugging me before. And telling me to say stuff. They photoshopped all their lies and made everything up on me in 18. I don't want to even hear this anymore. I would like my money.